risk several health challenges, and this is why it is important to make plans ahead of retirement. In lieu of this, the National Pre-Retirement Summit, a first of its kind, and marks a pattern shift, in retirement discourse in Nigeria. This year's summit themed Challenges, Prospects, and Opportunities at Retirement in Nigeria will focus on financial sustainability, wellness awareness, and the promotion of sustainable retirement programs and policies for the aging workforce. The National Pre-Retirement Summit will also be exploring health-related challenges that individuals face as they approach retirement, a critical phase in their lives. Joining us from our Abuja studio is CEO, XM Consultants Limited, and founder, National Pre-Retirement Summit, Dr. Eugenia Ndukwe. Thank you for joining us. We also have in our Abuja studio consultant physician, nephrologist, Zenith Medical and Kidney Care, Dr. Kudirat Busari. Ladies, thank you for joining us this morning. All right, let me begin with you, Dr. Eugenia Ndukwe. Why you think it's important for us to have this conversation around the wellness of the aged, although it's an important conversation, but why it's critical to have it at this time? Dr. Ndukwe, can you hear me? All right, so while we wait to have her speak with us, Theophilus, talking about the aged in Nigeria, we have seen a situation where some of them collapsed, because they were asked to come out to do some documentation as a result of getting their retirement package, pension, and all of it. But now we are having a conversation that has to do with pre-retirement so people can avoid such incidents. I think that is an important conversation to have, and this is a good time. My own perspective.
Yes, it is an important conversation, and I think that if you're actively working now, you should think about your retirement and put things in place for that, because as active as we are now, we get to a point where we're no longer as active.
Absolutely,
yes.
Because every day you're aging.
You're aging, yes. Well, sadly so. So we have to put in plans in place. Sometimes some people think about retirement and think about it in a bad light.
Yeah, because they have been active. Every day you get out of your house, you go somewhere, but suddenly you're home and it's like, birds, and you're wondering. Growing. So some tend towards depression and all of it, and I believe that is where the illnesses come from.
Yes.
Let's now get back to our Abuja studio, where we have our guests, CEO, XM Consultants Limited, and founder, National Pre-Retirement Summit, Dr. Eugenia Ndukwe, as well as consultant physician, nephrologist, Zenith Medical and Kidney Care, Dr. Kudirat Busari. Ladies, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you.
Right. Let me begin with you, Dr. Eugenia Ndukwe. Like I was speaking with my colleague here in the studio, Theophilus, I was saying that this is a critical conversation, planning for retirement, because we've seen people who collapse because they are waiting for their pension and some other issues showing that they have underlying health issues. And then some other persons do not properly plan for their retirement as it is. But talk to us why this conversation is important now from your perspective.
Okay, this conversation is quite important because firstly, we have to understand that retirement comes with aging, and aging is a period when our agility and our strength tend to fail us. So if we fail to plan for retirement of our aging period at this time when we are still quite strong and healthy, it will be very, very difficult for us to be able to navigate through that very difficult moment. So discussing and planning for our retirement at this point is very critical for us to be able to navigate through the hurdles of retirement.
Okay, so let me go to Kudirat, Busari. Eugenia talked about retirement coming with aging, but how do we plan for this in our heydays?
Okay, well, the thing is this. I think the most important thing is that you should know that just like machines, as we work constantly, our cells, our tissues break down. So one of the things we need to know is that as you grow older, you are more prone to chronic illnesses like hypertension, diabetes. You're also more inclined to develop cancers, arthritis. So you need to start imbibing important lifestyle interventions from now on that can prevent those things from happening. So calorie restriction. Okay, so the first thing is we need to maintain a healthy lifestyle. So avoid tobacco smoking, because tobacco smoking ages you and also predisposes you to lung cancers. Reduce your alcohol consumption. Alcohol, too, I'm sure you know, if you're a chronic alcoholic, you probably age faster than someone who doesn't drink alcohol. It also predisposes to liver cancer as well, too. Imbibing a healthy diet. So shift away from fatty and fried meals and focusing more on plant-based nutrients. So you're taking lots of beans, soy, shifting towards lean meat, too. So more of the poultry, fish, chicken, turkey, guinea fowl, staying away from red meat because on the innards, because those are usually cholesterol dense and calorie dense. Exercising regularly as well too. So you need to at least ensure that you're doing up to 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercises like brisk walking, swimming, aerobics, even dancing or doing regular house chores. Just make sure you don't have a sedentary lifestyle, because sedentary lifestyle predisposes to obesity, and we know that obesity is closely linked to a lot of these chronic illnesses like diabetes, hypertension, osteoarthritis, and osteoporosis, which is weak bones. Drinking sufficient water as well to also protect your kidneys in the long run. Ensuring that you also attain a healthy weight. So you make sure that your body mass index should be between the minimal and the normal range. You should be between 20 to 24.9. You should try to attain that. Once you are above 25 and going towards overweight and obesity, all the other risk factors that come with obesity also comes into place. So I think from now on, as you're young, trying to engage in healthy living would help to prevent you from developing a lot of these chronic illnesses that come with aging. Another thing is to also engage your brain. No, there's a popular saying that the brain is a muscle, so make sure that you're not just focusing on just work. Do other things, crossword puzzles, learn new things. These are the things, read books, listen to music. These are the things that will help to make sure that in the long run, your cognition and your mental capacity and mental well-being is also maintained once you are reaching the age of 60 and above.
Right. Dr. Kudirat, let me stay with you. You've said a lot of things. And when you look at the current situation in Nigeria, majority of persons may not necessarily agree with you in terms of, paying attention to, engaging your brain with crossword puzzle. They will tell you, the situation in the country has engaged their minds enough, so they cannot, what else should they be doing at this point that would engage them more than what is already on the ground? That's on the one hand. And then at what age do you begin to take all of these exercises seriously to avoid these illnesses associated with the aged?
Okay, so I believe from once you hit your middle age, 40 years and above, you should be more focused on a healthy lifestyle, okay? Because as you age, your cells, the ability to repair themselves also diminishes. The ability to proliferate and differentiate into new cells also diminishes. So once you hit the middle age, I think it's that time that you should start paying attention to your health. And we should also know that now, because in Nigeria, we're imbibing a more westernized and urbanized diet. Some of these illnesses don't even wait until we reach the age of 60 before they appear. I'm sure you're aware that a lot of people that are 40 years or even less are already hypertensive. A lot of them have diabetes or pre-diabetes. A lot of them are already battling with their weight. Some of them are coming up with cancers. And this is probably because we're shifting away from how things used to be in the olden days, where people were more active, were eating fresh fruits, were taking a lot of salty meals, calorie-dense meals, so those things. And then we're also having a more sedentary lifestyle. A lot of the public servants just sit in front of the computers all day, and then they get home very late in the night, they eat late, and then sleep immediately. There's no period where they are active and burning off the excess calories. So all these things accumulate over time, and you see that most of these diseases don't even wait until we're older before they start showing their faces. And yes, I understand the country is struggling, and we have a lot of issues ongoing. And yes, some might say this is not the time for crossword puzzles and all that. But I think we have to be deliberate with some of these things. You don't necessarily have to do crossword puzzles. You can do the local games. I think drafts, is it IO? Those things challenge you mentally. But you need to be deliberate and intentional about taking some time off to just sort of distress and engage yourself otherwise, because once you die, I mean, that's it. The struggle continues for everyone else. So I think everyone needs to pay more attention to their health and just be more conscious of the choices we make. Thank you.
Okay, so let's move now to Dr. Eugenia Ndukwe on this matter. You are hosting a pre-retirement summit, and of course you talked about the fact that the summit is strategic, and it's an initiative dedicated to addressing the challenges and the prospect prevalent in retirement in Nigeria. Now, tell us now, what are the challenges and the prospects of retiring in Nigeria?
Okay, first of all, I would want to make it very clear that the summit that we are organizing is a very intentional platform that is designed in such a way that those who are preparing for retirement and even those who have retired can have access to resources that could help them live a sustainable life. And then when we talk about issues, challenges facing retirees in Nigeria, they are quite numerous. But in all of these, the two key ones which we are focusing on are issues regarding their finances and their health. Because we believe a well-fed man and a healthy man, of course, could live as long as they wish to. But of course, if at a situation where they are having very serious financial issues and quite challenging health issues, then it begins to be difficult for you to live a sustainable life. And challenges regarding finances, of course, at the time they are working, we are expecting, or we know that the government is making certain provision that would be able to take care of them at retirement. And we also expect them to have their own personal savings, the personal retirement savings account that could also take care of them at the time they have retired, or at the time when they are no longer earning monthly.
Is that actually enough? Is that enough? Because we see a lot of times that many retirees go into business ventures.
Well, first of all, we need to understand that whatever provision is being made available for them is insufficient to give them, well, a reasonable lifestyle at the time they retire. And of course, the government has also made some consideration by saying, okay, you can accept certain percentage up to 25% of your retirement savings account, so that at the time that you retire, you will be able to start business. But I keep on emphasizing again that most employees, especially for the government, who are the highest employers of labor, are administrative machineries. They are not business people. So asking them to have access to this amount of money and then venture into business, which oftentimes tend to be the only option available for them, we're not being realistic, and it is not a sustainable plan. This is the reason why we are making a conscious effort to create a platform and say, okay, once you have an employer or an employee who has at least 5 years to retirement, please give them access to valuable information, knowledge, and skill that will help them to be able to navigate or transit into what tends to be the next option for them at the time they are no longer working for you. And that option is business. And then we all know, looking at the current economic situation in the country, whatever the government is making available, whatever they have saved, because that means they have to be able to take care of today to be able to save for tomorrow. So when what you are earning at the end of the month today is not sufficient, so reasonable to take care of you reasonably today, how much are you able to spare to save for your tomorrow?
That's the big question. That's the big question, because I was going to ask this question that has to do with the fact that most of these persons have a lot of responsibility in their active years while serving, and suddenly they realize that they are retiring. So perhaps you need to walk us through what measures. Yes, you're speaking with organizations, and I'm wondering how well organizations are receiving what you are saying, that when it is 5 years for these persons to retire, begin to allow them to take courses or learn 1 or 2 things that will help improve their skill before they retire. But the organization might tell you that is going to hamper on our productivity. So how do we strike a balance at the end of the day where the person that is retiring has the skill and everything that is required, and the organization is also not losing out at the end of the day?
Well, first of all, what we are talking about here is opportunity, it's knowledge. They said a knowledgeable man is a powerful man. So you must find a way. We have to be quite intentional. And let me be honest with you. We are saying, for me and Dr. Busirat, you can see we are quite young. We are very young. But most of these people do not have age on their side again. They do not have energy and strength, and even the mental capacity on their side again. And if they have dedicated 30 to 35 of their most active years serving you. And I keep emphasizing on the government employees, simply because the government is the largest employer of labor, and also because if you look at most of the retirees who are at the age of receiving this, the effects of poor planned retirement, it is the government's workers. So what we are saying here is that the government have to be quite intentional, and every employer of labor have to be quite intentional if we must also actually fight corruption to an extent. Because if I know that after working for you for about 30 to 35 years of my most active years, and I am not assured of a reasonable lifestyle when I leave you, then I have to begin to think about other options to be able to take care of that moment or that period of my life.
Now, you mentioned the matter of intentionality on the part of the person who will be retiring at the end of the day. Whether we like it or not, all of us will retire at some point. But talk to us how we can begin to plan, how we can be intentional with our planning, so that those who are watching will get some education at the end of the day from this conversation. What they can do, measures they can put in place, and what kind of skill do you think that these persons should acquire?
Okay, when it gets to that, the first thing I could mention here, and I will keep mentioning every time, is platforms like the pre-retirement summit we are organizing, because this platform is bringing together resources both from experts and industry professionals who will be available to help you and to also provide you with the necessary information and knowledge that would better prepare you or equip you to retirement. And then secondly, we are talking about our life. We have to find a way to be quite selfish about ourselves as an individual. Yesterday, I saw a post where the governor of Lagos State was saying, do not take your retirement benefits or your retirement savings or money. Do not keep that for your children. It is what you have worked for, and then you have to eat it. You have to spend it on yourself. But two questions comes into play when we look at this. The first question is, if you are giving me access to 25% of my savings, how much more can that, how far can that take me? And what can I do with that money? And I also keep emphasizing that most of the options available for retirees is to go into business. And so when platforms comes up like this, where you are being invited or asked to come to have access to knowledge that prepares you and equips you for retirement, you must take personal or intentional step towards coming out and coming for such an event. And then secondly, like I emphasized initially, the key two issues confronting retirees all over the world, and especially in Nigeria, are issues regarding finances. How are they able to manage whatever the government, whatever the employers have been able to provide to them? How are they able to invest? What are the best investment options with low risk? Because again, starting up a business, being an entrepreneur can be quite challenging. And then entrepreneurship or business tends to be the most available option for you. But you have to understand that there are kind of businesses you can venture into. It's not every kind of business you can go into. And again, the money that you have available, what can this be able to do as a seed capital for my business? And of course, since we are also bringing in experts to this platform, to this summit, it's also an opportunity for you to now engage, because already some of these employees already have health issues, and because we do not have well-equipped medical facilities, and some persons are also quite not open when it comes to issues regarding their health and their their body. They tend to shy away from that. They could have, they're actually going to be having platform to meet with medical experts and like I said, totally those will, because at this summit we look at generally all issues confronting retirees in Nigeria, and which are of course on the issue of the challenges and then the prospects and opportunities that are available for you. We have a very dear friend of mine who is quite an expert in technopreneurship. He's a digital expert, and we are not looking at retirement even from that aspect. But there are a lot of opportunities that are available for retirees on the digital space. How are they able to access it? So
all of this will be discussed at the forum, and of course we will still go to the where and the when. But let's move to Kudirat, Busari, and talking about our health. You earlier mentioned eating habits and lifestyle habits. Now, from what age should one start pruning down on some habits before you get to the point of?
Okay, usually once you hit the middle age, from 40 years and above, you need to be more careful about what you put into your bodies and your lifestyle, okay? When we're young, we're able to recover from illnesses fast. Our immunity is usually very strong. We're able to repair damages to our body first. But once you're hitting the middle age, from 40 years and above, things start to set in. So at that point, you need to be more conscious about your health and your habits. So you need to cut down on smoking. Actually, you should avoid smoking completely. You need to cut down on your alcohol intake. You need to be intentional about the kind of food you eat. This is not the time to start imbibing in fried and fatty meals, junk food, salty meals as well.
Kudirat,
because all of
let me quickly ask you this question, because we need to wrap up this conversation now. How can the aged, those who are retired, manage their mental health quickly? Because it's from one extreme to the other, where they were active, going out, and suddenly they are at home and not doing anything practically. Talk to us quickly.
Okay, so I think one thing is that you should surround yourself. Okay, the things you can do before seeking medical advice is, one thing, surround yourself with healthy relationships. Make sure you're connected with your friends, with your family, so that they don't leave you at the time when you're no longer active. And then you should speak up. I know there's this there's still a stigma about mental health issues in Nigeria, and So I think that's one thing. But now the awareness is increasing. You can actually seek help. There are a lot of behavioral scientists and psychologists out there who can offer behavioral cognitive therapy to patients who are depressed, who are anxious about this new phase of their life. So those are the things that we can do. But from the onset, make sure that you're not just focused on work alone, and you should develop other habits beyond work so that after you're done with work or you're retired, you still have those things to fall back on. And then surround yourself with good people. Yeah, those are the things you can do.
Dr. Ndukwe, quickly, when is this event happening and who can attend? Quickly, we just have some seconds.
Thank you. So the event is happening on the 10th of July. That's on Wednesday next week at the Abuja Continental Hotel, which is former Sheraton Hotel, Abuja, Nigeria. And it's open for anyone who is interested in planning and preparing for a very beautiful life after active years. And of course, once you have attained 40 and above.
Right.
Is it free?
Yes, the program is free. It's entirely free.
All right.
It's
and
open
that's it.
to everyone, both in the public and private sector.
CEO XM Consultants Limited and founder National Pre-Retirement Summit, Dr. Eugenia Ndukwe, as well as consultant physician, nephrologist, Zenith Medical and Kidney Care, Dr. Kudirat Busari. Thank you, ladies, for your time on the program.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.